you in it. So if you want to go ahead and share it, that'd be awesome.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Yes, Courtney, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and welcome to this week's edition of another fucking podcast. In studio, I have Brian Forsythe of KIX and Rhino Bucket. Going to be talking about the brand new, it's a couple months new, right? The documentary?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into all that. Welcome to the show. Make sure you check out all of our great sponsors, of course, Rockstar Leatherworks and Vid Decals, vid-decals.com. Makes all my great stickers. Rockstar Leatherworks, doing all the great leather bands, watches, and cuffs and all that kind of stuff for me. The Rockwood Saloon made my killer vest, my leather vest that makes me look like a rock star that I ain't. Check them out, the Rockwood Saloon. They do like Lita Ford stuff. They're good. You need t-shirts done, go to them. Brian or Tony over there, he'll take care of you. A&P Productions, laser engraving edition, division, whatever the fuck it is. We're doing we're going to be doing we're calling it the Roadie Pack. It's going to have this little flashlight. It's going to have a Zippo. It's going to have a flask. It's going to have bottle openers, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get all the pricing and all that kind of stuff for you soon, and I make those available to you. Of course, Sass Pants Designs. That's ones for you ladies. Get all those shirts you need. Those old shirts you got laying around. You want them made all more sexier and fit your bodies and stuff. Boobies. We love boobies. Turns them into tank tops and tube top dresses and all that kind of killer stuff. Sass Pants Designs. Check her out on Facebook. And Beater Amplification. Oh, yes. Check out Beater Amplification. I am proud to be one of their sponsored artists. Right now, the sponsored artist. I'm the first one. I'm the guy, which is kind of scary, but also a beautiful, beautiful thing. Beater Amplification, hand-wired amps. And I just played it for Brian over here. He liked it. He liked it so good. 100-watt amps. You can just pull two of the tubes. You got a 50 water because you don't always need 100 watts. It's a lot of wattage for clubs, but they sound fucking killer. So check those guys out. Make sure you hit up all of the social media, which is, of course, for the show, facebook.com/another effing podcast. My personal page for all of my appearances would be facebook.com/IzzyPresley1. So you'll find out about my weekly appearance in Hollywood at Soundcheck Live at Lucky Strike. Had a killer week last week. This week, I don't know who we have this week, but I know we're doing like VH1's like ultimate albums, I guess. Something like that. It's going to be cool. It's always cool. That's going to be killer. And, of course, hit up the Twitter machine. Izzy_Presley on my quest for 1 million followers. Creeping down at 1,800. I'm getting up there. It's close. It's close. I can smell it. So, yeah. Check out all of that great shit. Make sure I'm not forgetting Instagram. Izzy Presley on Instagram. Follow me. Just see my food pics. because, I'm that guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Brian Forsythe. KIX, it's good to see you, man.
Yeah.
It's, usually when I see you on the Monsters of Rock cruise, up until this year, is always just in the buffet line.
Yeah. That's where I spend most of my free time.
Yeah, me too, but you're not fat like me. That's impressive. It's weird. It's like this is the first year that we've actually chatted.
Right.
Every time it's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Buffet line. Every time.
Well, I see at the little judge table, too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. When Chad Stewart makes me start drinking Jack Daniels at 10 a.m. It's all that fucking Chad Stewart's fault. So the documentary came out a couple months ago.
October.
Oh, October. So a couple months ago.
Yeah.
That's right. It's called Can't Stop the Show, and it's about the new record, which was new in 2014.
Yeah, well, we're sort of milking it.
Well, yeah, of course you should. I just watched it right before you got here. It was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it did turn out pretty cool.
What took so long to bring it out? I mean, were you filming it while you were doing the recording, or was you just filming shit while you're doing the recording? I mean, how did the documentary come about?
Yeah, it was kind of an accident. The guy that filmed it, he had some kind of music cable TV show, and he had me as a guest at one point, and it was really close to where Mark Shanker, our bass player, lives, and that's where we recorded the record. And at some point, he contacted me right before we started recording and asked if it would be cool if he could come up, or maybe he asked me during that other interview because I mentioned the new record, and he said. He goes, maybe we could just pop by with a camera and just kind of hang out. And I thought, yeah, that might be kind of cool. So I asked the other guys, and they were okay with it. So they'd show up, here and there, and they just wander around. And after a while, we didn't even notice them anymore.
Right.
And we got so much footage. And we thought it was just going to be some fun wraparound junk that we could throw up here and there on YouTube. And there was so much good stuff that actually Mark Shanker, got the idea. He thought, wow, we should put this together and make this into something. So once we showed it to the record company, they were like, yeah. So that's what happened with that. I mean, it took a while.
Right.
'Cause there's some live concert footage that happened later on,
right.
and then all those, the other interviews that all happened after the fact.
Right,
too.
yeah, because there's some clips from the Monsters cruise, and clips from South Dakota, and I think there was another one in Vegas, something like that.
Leesburg, Virginia.
How has that documentary coming out? Because there's some live clips of the new songs, and I'm not gonna lie, it's the first time I've heard them. Being honest, because I watch you guys, and then I'm usually drinking,
right?
And very AC/DC-ish. It's like that's what if you think a new AC/DC record comes out, that's what it should sound like, in my opinion.
Okay.
Very cool. Has the document? I mean, it's been out for a few months now. Has it affected the sales on the record at all? Has it helped?
That's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'll have to ask that next time I see one of our record company people. But I know that after the record came out, our the live show thing picked up.
Okay.
I mean, like crazy. It took it took about 6 months to almost a year for it to kick in. But once it did, it was just like boom, and all of a sudden we're just playing and playing and playing and playing. So I think now, like the DVD, it's just sort of helping it along, But we're kind of like buying time before we start working on another record.
Right. How's the response been to the new music? I mean, because you mentioned it in the in the documentary about you just want to hear the classic songs, and then it's piss break when the new song starts.
That was the other thing. I mean, when we went in to record the new record, even before we even started working on it, we were just talking about it. Everybody was a little worried about it, like, oh, can we pull this off? Because our old bass player was the main guy that wrote all the songs, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to put out a quality record like that. And I've heard that happen with bands where 20 years will go by, and then they'll put a new record out, and it'll be like, what happened?
Right.
So that's what we didn't want to happen. And but after we got into recording and got it done and listened to it, it was like, wow, like this really turned out good.
Right.
And I think it surprised us so much because we weren't even planning, and we were going to do it and do it the best that we could, but we didn't. We figured, we might play one song or something, just throw one new one in there, but it turned out so good that we at one point we were playing like 5 new songs in the set.
Holy shit.
So that's a lot of new songs.
Right. And if the crowd's into it, fucking roll with it,
Well, yeah, and most of those shows were East Coast shows
Right.
where people know us. So
Right.
we can get away with it there.
Well, and it's so tough in this day and age too, because KIX is considered a legacy act at this point, and rock stations aren't playing, new music from legacy acts for the most part. I remember I used to be on Rockin' 101 in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and the new L.A. Guns record came out, and I think it was the Hollywood Vampires record. They had that song "You Better Not Love Me," which was a killer song. And we put it, in the rotation occasionally. And then Guns was coming up to play in our town. So every time an LA Guns came on during my shift, because, promoting the show, I'd play the new fucking song. Got in trouble for it, But when they played that song at that show, everybody in the crowd knew it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's impressive how that, or it's amazing how that, people hear it, they like it, they'll buy it,
That's how it works.
Well, yeah, that's
how it should work.
That's how it should work. So it's like at this point, putting out new music, is it kind of an ego thing at this point, or is it just strictly for the fans? What's the mentality with new music right now?
Yeah, I think it is mostly for the fans because, that's just like you said. Who's going to play it?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Well, it's such a weird thing, especially with the way rock radio is now, and the rock music in general. It's like I attribute part of it, and I could be wrong with this, but we're in one of the biggest markets in the world, and there's no active rock radio station.
Right.
You think that has an effect on it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how anything. The whole industry has changed so much,
Right.
and it keeps changing too. So it's like it's hard to keep up with it. They did have, like LA will try to do it occasionally. Try to put something out like that 103 station for a while. Remember that?
No, was that? I've been on here for 3 years.
Oh, maybe that was before your time.
Yeah,
that was a good one. Like Steve Jones had a show on there, and in fact, it was different people would have different shows, and they'd be different styles of music.
Right.
Wow. Which was really cool. Like, there'd be like a Sunday show that was what was that called? I can't. My poor mind. But it was like it was like a alternative country kind of stuff, like almost like an outlaw country station.
Oh, very cool.
They played Graham Parsons kind of stuff. And
Right.
so it was a really cool station, and it was really happening. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it didn't last or it didn't catch on. Or, everyone I knew listened to it, especially the Steve Jones show.
Right.
That was a big hit. But it just kind of came and then went.
Yeah, just recently we had on KLOS they had that Saturday night show Horns Up, which it was cool because it was playing the music that we love that doesn't get played on the radio ever, especially here because new rock to them is fucking Hotel California, and it seemed like it was doing very well, and all of a sudden boom, it's gone.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
It's just mind blowing. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's all about fucking live music now. It really is.
Yeah, that's where we make our money.
Right. Where do you guys do the best? Well, obviously on the East Coast, but do you guys do well out here? Because I was talking to the Firehouse guys, and they're like, well, we're great in the Midwest. We're great on the East Coast, but West Coast.
Well, it's funny because we have trouble booking gigs out here, like L.A., the L.A. area. But I think it's mostly the promoters and the clubs. It's hard to get like the money that we need to justify flying all those guys out here because I'm the only one that lives here.
Right.
And But once we do get a show lined up, it's always like a sold out event,
Right.
you know. So it's weird, you know.
And you guys are pretty much at that point where it's like, we'll just do fly out gigs. You're not going to hop in the bus anymore.
No, the East Coast is the closest we get to something like that. We'll drive because everything's close,
right,
within driving distance. So we'll drive up to New York and then maybe go up to, you know, Connecticut or something, and then back, or up to New Jersey and New York, or, you know, a couple shows hooked together. But they're, you know, and that's just taking our own. Those guys' personal vehicles.
Right. And you just hitchhiking along?
Well, I have it like a rent-a-car or something.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah, I mean, when I had LeBar on the show, he's like, yeah, dude, I'm done. It's like, why am I going to get in a fucking van and, you know, lug my own gear? And
well, I do that with Rhino Bucket still.
Aha, that's right. How often does Rhino Bucket play? I know you guys are working on a new record right now.
Yeah, it's in the mixing stages. We don't play that often, and it's mostly because I'm too busy.
Right.
Which is terrible, but for them.
Right, terrible for them, good for you.
Yeah, but I have done several European tours with them where, you know, they'll be like, especially in the wintertime, you know, gigs kind of, like, there's kind of a lull, like January, February. And so in the past, you know, I'd warn KIX's booking agent. I'd say, hey, can you sort of slow down on this area, because Rhino Bucket's got this tour that they're putting together. So then we'd fly out to Europe and do like 6 weeks to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And that is grueling. Like we did we did a shorter one. It was 45 days, and we did 43 shows.
Holy shit.
I think we did 21 before we had a day off. Like,
wow.
Just crazy.
Well, I mean, you look at the other side of it. It's like, all right, we're working every night. I don't have a chance to spend my money.
Yeah, and Georgian line.
Right.
Because he doesn't have time. He's too worn out by the end of the night to overdo it. But those tours are like no road crew. We have one, like a tour manager, driver, and we're in a Sprinter van with the gear in the back, and it's just, you know, us unloading, setting up, playing, tearing it down, loading it back up, and driving, or, you know, staying over and then driving the next day. So it's just boom, 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 boom. It's like the old days.
Is that humbling for you?
A little, but I don't know. I adapt easily to situations. Okay. Nothing bothers me. I don't know why.
It's funny you talk about that, and I can just picture the Anvil movie. I'm assuming you saw the Anvil movie. Yeah, when they're like in that Winnebago and they're just shivering and
yeah.
Oh my God. How is response in England compared to here for Rhino Bucket and for KIX?
You know what? England is one place that KIX hasn't played there since '88.
Holy shit.
We are going back though. We haven't announced the date, but no, they did announce it.
Oh, okay.
I can say it. Oh, that's right.
All right, cool.
It's not a secret anymore. The Nottingham Festival, or no, the Rockingham Festival.
Oh, cool.
That's in October. So that's the first time we'll have gone back there since '88. And then Rhino Bucket, they went back in the early days, back when I wasn't in the band, but we tried to go there. When was that? 2007. There was some kind of a AC/DC cover, like a AC/DC like tribute festival, where it was all these different AC/DC tribute bands.
Jesus.
Even that bluegrass version, you know.
Oh wow.
What is it? AC/DC.
Yeah.
They were there, so they invited Rhino Bucket. Rhino Bucket was the only non-AC/DC band that was going to play, and we flew over there, and we're in line. We're in customs, waiting to go through customs, and our tour manager guy that was with us comes walking down the line to each one of us, and he comes up and he goes, "Okay, here's the story." And I'm like, you don't want to hear that in a
right
in a customs line. Here's the story. It's like, what? It's like, turns out we didn't have any of the papers.
Oh,
nobody
Jesus.
did any of the anything on either end. The promoter didn't do it. Our guy didn't do it. So he was just going to wing it when we got there. It didn't work. They pulled us out of the line. They interrogated us. They held us there for like 4 hours. And the funny thing was George, he's from Finland originally, so he's got a European passport. He just went right on through. And he's down by the luggage waiting. He's going, where are those guys? Like, he didn't know what happened. And they detained the rest of us. And we ended up getting deported. So they let us, they couldn't, it was too late to send us back that night. So they let us stay over and then put us on the first flight back. So we didn't get to play.
Oh, that sucks. That's that's like Spinal Tap at its best.
Yeah. So anyway, that's as close as I've come to playing Great Britain. It was actually in Manchester. The gig.
Okay. So when you guys do that festival you're talking about, are you guys going to build some shows around it, or are you just going to go over and do that show and bounce back? I mean,
well, so far that's the only one. So it looks like it might be just in and out.
It's a long flight for one show.
It is. I know.
Especially from here.
I know.
Those fuckers are on the East Coast. That's easier.
I know. And we're also doing Sweden Rock.
Oh, kick ass.
In June. And that's the same thing. It's like, I guess our booking agent's not too, he's sort of still new at the European thing or something.
Gotcha.
Because I know, like, Rhino Bucket did Sweden Rock back in 2011, but we also did a couple other things around it too. And I know that, like, there's a bunch of festivals around that same time, like in Finland, that we could have jumped on, but I don't know.
You think it would be the smart thing to do?
Yeah.
Common sense.
Especially you're all already over there.
Exactly. Got a couple comments rolling in here. All right, let's see. Keith, what's up, fellas? Lori Nickel from Australia. Rock and roll from the land down under. Kyle Kruger. Here I go again. What's up, buddy? Scott Strickland, good day, gents. KIX rocks the MORC. Norman Voss. No need for Donnie. You guys still got it. Let's see. Gunter, the guy that makes my stickers. I second that. I'm assuming we were talking about music on the radio or something. Lori, our rock station over here turned into a sports station on the weekends. Fucking sucks. Jennifer, how you doing? And yes, it is only audio, no video. Harry Hummus, loving this interview. All right, we're gonna give you an applause for that. Thank you, Harry Hummus. Appreciate that. How much has the MORC or the Monsters of Rock Cruise, has that helped you guys a lot?
Yeah,
you think?
I think every time we play helps us.
Well, right, but it's
that really has, because it's it's a captive audience, and it's, a lot of people, they come for different reasons in different bands, and I've run into a bunch of different people that have that have never seen us before. It's like, oh, this is my first time. I'm a fan for life, and it's like, oh, cool.
Right, yeah. The first time I saw you guys was in Royalton, Minnesota, at Halfway Jam, and you guys played up at Halfway Jam, and that was the first time. It's like, holy fuck, these guys threw it out.
Was that the one with the Skid Row, maybe?
Nah.
Because I think we've done that twice.
Okay, it was probably the second time.
Oh, okay.
It's probably because it wasn't until I was with the radio station.
Okay.
But yeah, if you guys haven't seen KIX live, get out and fucking go see KIX and buy the new record.
Yes.
Yes, you'll like the new record. Like I said, the 3 songs I heard in the documentary. Yes, Doc, I know that you're now that. People texting me. But he's listening right now, too, at the same time. So, yes, I know that is you, Mr. Hummus. I caught on to it. What bands have you got turned on to through Monsters of Rock?
Oh, this last trip, DAD.
Oh,
I mean, I knew who they were.
Right.
And I've seen a song here and there, and I every time I hear a song or see a video, I always liked it, but I'd never seen them live. And so I got to see him on the boat, and man, that guitar player just blew me away, especially the spaghetti western stuff that he does.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Super high energy.
Yeah, good songs.
Yeah, good songs.
And not just like run-of-the-mill. I mean, they go into like this verse groove that sounds like Rhino Bucket, but then they throw in these weird changes, but not like weird, like cool weird.
Yeah, and a 2-string bass.
Yeah. Like, how many strings do you need, really?
Right, it's bass. You
but that guy.
Yeah, you couldn't figure out how to run the lights. You play the bass. You only need 2 strings. There you go.
Yeah,
and that's not a rip because he does fucking throw down. You know, those guys are great. Did you have a chance to see Beasto Blanco?
I didn't, but I heard a lot of stuff about him. Like Ronnie was blown away.
Yeah, they're fucking amazing. It's very zombie-esque.
Oh, okay.
Rob Zombie-esque.
Right.
It's just got that vibe, and it's just raw. It's fucking great.
See, I'm so bad. Like, you know, the boat. You just walk down the hall, go up the steps, and you can go see a band. That's how lazy I am.
Right?
I can't even get that together.
I know. See, but my problem is I bounce around so much. You know, it's like I'll watch like half a song, and all right, where do I got to go?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, actually, DAD, I ended up. I watched the whole thing
from
beginning to end. I couldn't leave once I got there. I'm trying to think of who else did I see on there? I want to see a few people. My mind is just going blank tonight. I don't know why. But the Rock and Roll Residency guys.
Oh yeah, those guys are great.
I never saw them either. That's the first time I saw them. I saw video clips because Ronnie would get up and play with them and stuff. But to go watch those guys, they look like they're having so much fun up there.
And that's like Gene's new solo band. Gene Simmons' new solo band.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I got up to that was the first time I ever got to play the pool stage was this year. Was they had me come up to do Dr. Love during the Super Bowl in the middle of my 19-hour drinking binge caused by Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat.
Right.
I was a little not sober by accident, but we're doing Dr. Love. It's not too hard. Oh yeah. What else about it? What else about it? Are you guys coming back to MORC this year? Do you guys know? Have you guys talked about that at all?
Well, I think they're still thinking.
They're talking. You're in talks.
Yeah.
You're in talks. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll be back, but it's going to be cool. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. We are about a half an hour in. I'm going to play a couple commercials. 1 minute. We'll be right back. Brian Forsythe of KIX. It's another fucking podcast.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
All right, and we are back with Brian Forsythe of KIX. We got a couple, and Rhino Bucket. Can't forget Rhino Bucket. Got a couple more comments. Scott Strickland up in Canada, eh? First time I saw them live was MORC Pre-Party 2014. I was hooked. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Jennifer Brinkley, I heard they were ridiculous. I'm assuming you're talking about DAD in a great way. Jacobus, he's the one that brings us our beers. He says, hey, fuckers. Let's see. Paul Jones, KIX rocks the PA. I'm assuming that's Pennsylvania, not just PA system.
Probably Pennsylvania, yeah.
Pennsylvania? Yeah, I get that. Let's, I don't know a whole lot about, the history. I didn't realize until I watched the documentary. You guys were around since, like, the late 70s.
Yes, 77. No, December 77 was the first time we got together.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I was. What year did you guys hit MTV? Was that 89, 88?
Well, that's when we got into rotation.
Yeah,
Our first video was probably 84.
Right, but when you got into rotation, and that's when I got exposed to it. So you guys have been around for a while.
Yeah.
When did you guys get your first deal?
1981.
Okay, so about 4 years after you guys started. You got your first deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, that first rehearsal in December, it was only one time in December 77. And this was in Frederick, Maryland, in my parents' basement. And it was me, Ronnie, Donnie, and we had a different drummer. And actually we didn't even have a singer yet, so it was just us 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the first song we rehearsed was or put together was that song "Atomic Bombs," which is on the first record.
Okay.
But and then there was this huge blizzard, and my parents' house was out in the country, and we had like a 1/4-mile lane that went up a hill and back to where the house was. So after the blizzard, we couldn't get together until January, and then we got found a singer, some guy from Buffalo, New York, named Ed, and we called him Buffalo Ed, and he had a big buffalo head too. And then that guy didn't even last. He didn't get out of the basement, and we ended up with another guy from Pennsylvania. So we went through that guy, the second guy, and then we got a third singer before we finally found Steve.
Okay.
But so we were out playing already. We were just doing covers, but we also did a few, originals snuck in there here and there. But it took a while to get the lineup, and then we got Jimmy was the last one after Steve, and we finally got Jimmy in the band. But Jimmy had played with Donnie. Yeah, just Donnie. I guess he played with Donnie in a band before. So,
what kind of covers were you guys playing as a cover band?
Well, at first it was all this is late 70s,
yeah.
And it was kind of like it was hard to find stuff at that point. I remember it was just a weird time. I remember we were all over the place. We do Ted Nugent, we do like the Babies, we do
the Babies rock.
Yeah, and then Cheap Trick, a lot of Cheap Trick,
of course.
Stones, of course, Led Zeppelin, and then we discovered AC/DC, and this was probably around Power Age or something. But we did the whole Let There Be Rock record.
Holy shit!
And people around that area didn't know who AC/DC was, so they thought they were our songs. So it was like the weirdest thing.
That's the best. Yeah. When you can play a cover song and nobody knows that you didn't write and they love it.
Yeah,
it's fucking great.
But that once we discovered AC/DC, it was like we found our groove. We knew what we were good at. So that kind of molded us.
Yeah, so that kind of molded you guys. Like I said, I mean, the new record, the songs that I heard, it sounds like if AC/DC should come out with a record now, that's what it should sound like.
Yeah, yeah. But we in the way back before we had a record deal in the cover band days, we even did like Devo. I mean, I have some old bootlegs of shows. We do like 3 sets a night, and there was like weird stuff in there. Like I listened to it, I'm like, wow, I don't remember doing that song. I mean, just crazy stuff.
Have you ever thought about putting that stuff out?
Oh, it's the sound quality. So it's on cassette.
And
I don't know.
Well, look, there's all these Van Halen fucking tapes flying around from like before when they were a cover band. They don't sound good, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
you hear Van Halen doing like Rock and Roll All Night, and like playing these backyard parties as Mammoth, and there's just these fucking tapes rolling around. You can find it all over the internet. It's fucking great.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a guy that comes to probably every show we play around Pennsylvania, around the Pennsylvania area and Maryland, and he's still there. He's been there since the early days. He's always in the middle of you can spot him just standing out there with a big grin on his face every time. And he's the guy that used to record us back then. Like he was friends with our sound man, and we had a cassette deck in the console. And he'd just bring his cassette and he'd stick it in the board there and record the shows. So he's got like, I don't know what that guy has. He's probably got the best collection.
See, he's the one you want to talk to.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a live record out? Did you ever?
Well, actually the DVD comes with
but
it's like mostly the new songs with a couple other older songs.
Yeah, because I just rented it off of iTunes, so I don't actually have the physical product.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's an actual back in the old Atlantic days. There's a KIX Live. That was kind of like our contractual.
Gotcha.
The one that we had to give them before we got off the
out
of the deal. And then we have 2011, was it, or somewhere around there? We put a live from Baltimore out with a DVD.
Okay.
And that was on another label. That was on Frontiers, and we were gonna do. That's who we were gonna do the record with to begin with, and the only reason that happened was we were looking for somebody to put out the DVD. So Frontiers offered to do it, but the agreement was we were going to do a studio record.
Gotcha.
And we never did. But when they put that DVD out, it turns out they didn't clear the licensing. So they had to pull it. After 30 days, they had to pull it back out. So that's how we got out of that contract, which I'm so glad we did.
Right.
Because I've heard horror stories about that.
Really? Interesting. So if anybody has that, that's a collector's edition.
Yeah.
Collector's item.
Yeah. I think I have one. I don't even have the new one.
Really?
I had them, and then I think I might have given them to my brothers, and I've got to get one.
Kyle from Here I Go Again, trailering the KIX doc in front of Here I Go Again on his upcoming movie tour.
Oh yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, I think they're showing their movie. There's the guy that shot our documentary has a theater. His family owns a theater in where's that? Winchester, Virginia.
Okay.
And that's where we did our big screening of
the
DVD and the Q&A. So they're doing theirs there. I forget the date. I should know the date, but they invited me to come down if I'm in town.
Very cool. Yeah, that's a cool doc. It's a fun doc. I'm assuming you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. How was your deal with Atlantic? I had Doug Pinnick on the show about a year ago, and he was talking about how King's X got fucked. And basically what happened was, I can't remember which label they were on, it's escaping me at the moment, but it was in the deal that it was only the physical product that was available at the time. So anything past, and this is like the glory years of King's X, anything past that, anything digital, they don't see a dime out of.
That's probably happened to a lot of people. Yeah, Atlantic. When we signed, it was pre-CD, so it was a vinyl deal.
Okay.
And I was the worst at paying attention back then either. They set the contract in front of me. I just signed the thing. I didn't, it's like this thick. I don't know what it said, but the deals back then were so horrible. I think you got like half a penny per album or some crazy thing like that. So we signed some horrendous deal, and it was right at the 81. I guess right at the end of the 70s, all that payola stuff happened where they busted all these labels for paying off the radio stations. So all that stuff they cleared all that stuff out. So when we got signed, they weren't even giving out advances at that point. Like you hear people getting signed and they get like $100,000 or $200,000 and they go buy cars and all this junk. We got nothing. I mean, they gave us the record budget was the advance.
Right.
So they put us in Atlantic Studios to do the record. So they lent us the money and put us in their studio. So we're paying them to record with their money, and then we have to pay them back.
Right.
It's like this whole scam. But it's just everything that you do goes onto the bill, and it just racks it up, the costs. And the deal was so bad, and eventually CDs came out, and it was the same kind of thing. And we didn't even have, and this was before, like MTV hadn't really taken off yet, so there was no video budget, and Atlantic didn't even have a hard rock department, or didn't a metal department really. That didn't happen until Skid Row came along.
Gotcha.
Then they formed this whole department to handle those kinds of bands. So we were just lumped in with like Phil Collins and whoever else. Like they didn't know what to do with us. So finally, right before Blow My Fuse, we got a new manager who went in there and renegotiated the deal, and got us a way better deal. But by then it was our fourth record. We were like $1 million or more in debt by that point. So there's just no way out of it.
Right.
And then that record, Blow My Fuse, was our biggest record. It eventually went platinum, but not for 10 years.
Wow, it took that long.
Well, here's how it worked. Here's how these companies work. It's like, I don't know if you know how like promoters work at these clubs where bands play. They'll work out a door deal with a band.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, well, after 50 people pay, then you'll get 50%.
Right.
And then you go at the end of the night, oh, we got 48 people paid. It's always like that short.
Right.
So you don't get your money. Well, the record company's the same way. They say, okay, when you hit this many sales, you get a bonus. And when you hit here, you get this bonus. Well, we're always this short of a bonus. I'm showing like 2 inches.
Trust me, all the ladies know about my 2 inches.
So anyway, that's how that works. So we were supposed to get this bonus when our record went platinum. Well, it never did. It stalled out at $850,000. So around 1999, 2000, it went platinum finally, or somewhere around there.
That's weird that it took that long because, I mean, you guys...
Well, you know why? Because the new renegotiated contract expired right before that.
Really?
So we didn't get the bonus. Our royalty rate dropped back down to the vinyl royalty rate.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's how they do it.
I mean, it shocks me that, obviously if they fucked, it sounds like you got pretty much Munsoned on that deal.
Well, you know what the good part about it is? All that money you owe, once you get off the label, they eat it. You don't have to pay them back.
So it's kind of like, say you get a credit card and you don't pay them. After 7 years, it just disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
But that's why, you can't do it now, but I'm saying if you were around back then and you were a band and they offered you an advance for anything, you should take it because you'll have that money because you'll never make it back.
Right.
You'll never make that money, and that was our mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Like Donnie always wanted to make it the honest way.
Right.
And through record sales, which we never did. So we never got the money. And there were so many times when our manager would go and talk to the record company and come back. He goes, so I can get you guys like this $300,000 like bonus. If we do this. And Donnie would always go, no. I don't want to incur any more debt. But it's like, yeah, but Donnie, take the money.
I know.
We don't have to pay that back. But
it's a bonus.
He wouldn't do it.
Oh my God!
And he was in charge, So.
Oh, of course. Holy shit!
What's that?
What the hell is this?
Is that a comment?
I can show you the world shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, somebody's fucking posting their lyrics in our fucking chat room, you fucking dickwad. Nice work. That's worth a Pat Fontaine laugh.
Yeah.
All right, we got, let's see, Emily.
Oh, Emily.
Hey, Brian and Izzy, great interview. Kyle, let's see. Oh, I already read that. April 25th.
Hello, Emily.
What's up, Brian? When are you coming back to Florida?
Who's that?
Jim Flake.
Oh, yeah. I know that guy. Good question. When's the next cruise?
Yeah. You guys are not confirmed for the next cruise.
Yeah.
Let's see. Laurel, we love KIX. And there's Matthew's long lyrics promoting himself. Nice work. Norman Voss, great insight with record companies, though they suck. Jacobus just laughs. He's probably got his penis in his hand at this point. So KIX, you left KIX in what, 93?
Yes, yeah.
What led to that?
All kinds of stuff. Well, there's a few different factors, but it was just a lot of years of touring nonstop, and then we had that really great record, Blow My Fuse, and then we go in and do Hotwire, which I thought was even a better record, and we thought, okay, this is a slam dunk. Now finally we're gonna break through there and become this big band, and we put out Hotwire, and then Nirvana came out, and that was the end of that. And so I saw it just slowly starting to sink back down, and I thought, oh no, like that's it. and I'm going to have to go in reverse through everything I just went through.
Right.
And there were other factors, you know, that like internal problems that it's just starting to get to me. So I started reaching out to other people, like to try to write some songs with some people. And I guess my tastes weren't in that direction anymore. And I was like, I just wanted to just try something different. And I ended up actually, the weird thing was I was trying to get a hold of Tammy.
Really?
And I ended up talking to Eric Stacy instead. Because he was, our old guitar tech was on the road with them. So I called our old guitar tech, oh man, Randy. And he happened to be rooming with Eric.
Thank you, Jennifer.
And I was trying to get hold of Tammy, and he goes, wait a minute, Eric wants to talk to you. And he hands me the phone, and then Eric gets on the phone and finds out that I'm like wanting to write some songs, and he's like, oh man, somehow anyway, he talked his way into the situation, and I ended up getting together with him, which actually turned out pretty cool. We wrote a bunch of cool songs. Then I would take all my freaking flyer miles and fly out here to LA on like off weekends. And we put this band together and recorded this like 4-song demo. And it just turned out so cool. I loved the way it sounded. It was like, oh, and I was already thinking about like the leaving the KIX thing. And this just sort of, it was like the icing on the cake. It like finally made me decide to just go for it. So I went back home. I had that cassette of that thing, and I remember riding to rehearsal one day, or maybe it was on the way home. Maybe I waited till after rehearsal, but I was with Steve, and I put it in his car, in the cassette in his car, cassette player, and then I broke the news to him. I said, I'm leaving. So it was like this short notice too, like a 2-week notice.
Oh wow!
But we weren't doing anything at the time. It was
Right.
kind of a lull, so it was the perfect time to get out, and I just left.
Was it weird for you to leave a band that you started?
Yeah, I put in a lot of years, but my heart wasn't into it anymore at that point, and I just I needed a change.
Right.
It was just I just couldn't take it anymore.
KIX is one of those bands you never heard about being like one of those super party bands. Were you guys kind of big partiers, or was it just kind of?
Well, it was always after the fact. Like,
Okay.
We were totally professional when it came to the show. Nobody drank during or before, but afterwards, it was crazy sometimes. And in fact, later on, after I came out here, it really like kicked in full force with me with the whole drugs and alcohol, and I mean, I kind of just went down the toilet out here. So at the end of the 90s,
It's easy to do.
Yeah, at the end of the 90s, I finally had to go into rehab, first jail and then rehab.
Oh wow! All right, now I feel like a dick for offering you a beer.
Well, you didn't know.
I didn't know. I had no idea. Somebody asked, do you have a day job? Yes, he plays acoustic guitar with a tip jar in front of Trader Joe's and Eagle Rock.
Yeah, there's some guys that do that. There's some guy that has this homemade banjo. Have you seen that guy?
No.
I shouldn't. Well, he won't be listening.
No. No, because he's sitting with his homemade banjo in front of Trader Joe's and Eagle Rock.
I call him the banjo bum. He's probably not a bum. That's
Right.
terrible. Oh, it's the banjo bum.
Banjo bum. How long were you? So how long did that thing with Eric last?
Oh, not that long.
Okay.
Because Eric was kind of in bad shape too. But it lasted about, timelines. The older I get, the worse I am with
I
timelines.
know, I'm terrible.
It lasted until, we started doing some gigs, and then the rest of the band was like, there was trouble between the singer and Eric, and Eric was just he was kind of a mess. In fact, well, I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but there were some things that happened, and finally they decided to replace him. So we got a different bass player, and we changed the name and continued on without Eric, really not that much longer, maybe 6 months or so. I forget. The band was called the Rhythm Slaves, and then we changed it to Catfish.
Okay.
But the whole lifespan of those two bands together was probably about a year. When I went back to record Show Business with KIX is when that fell apart. Because I think the singer thought I was going to end up going back with KIX, which I wasn't planning on. Mm-hmm. They just hired. I was like an outside guy they hired for that record. I just went there. I recorded it, did 3 shows, and then came back. And while I was on the East Coast, my singer says, "Oh, I think I'm going to quit the band." So that was the end of that band.
Did you ever get in touch with Tammy?
No.
Hey, Bubba, I heard you wanted to talk to me.
Well, actually, I ended up running into him out here after I came out. But that's when he was into that whole,
the industrial gimmick,
yeah. So by that point, I was like, I don't know. So...
got a couple more questions. One of the best interviews to date. Thank you, Izzy and Brian. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Jennifer, it's okay. You cannot help it whenever you want. Scott Strickland, is that where Dirty Girls got inspired from, the after party?
You'd have to ask Steve that.
Well played. Norman Voss wants to know, what was it like to have Guns N' Roses, Poison, everyone open for you guys?
Well, actually, Guns N' Roses didn't.
Yeah.
But Poison did several times.
Well, that's right. East Coast, yeah.
Back when they were Paris. I was like any other band. I mean, Cinderella opened for us.
Yeah, that's right.
Extreme opened for us. All kinds of bands opened for us. But I remember Poison when they were still Paris, before they were Poison. And they were just these little teeny bopper rocker guys.
Right.
And they were basically a cover band back then. Mm-hmm. And they just do... Van Halen and Judas Priest and all the stuff in those days. And they had their spandex and little scarves tied around the spandex or bandanas around the spandex. And we would play these all-age shows. And they weren't very good back then. And we would listen to them. We'd be in the dressing room, like off the side of the stage, listening, like going, oh, man. And then we'd look out, and the crowd would be going crazy. It'd be all these little girls just melting. I mean,
ow, Brett! And Cece's over there going,
well,
hey, what about me there, Sally?
Well, actually, it was before CC.
Oh, wow, okay.
This was back, they had the other guy in the band back then. It was before they came out here.
Okay.
So, but even in that stage, they had something. There was something about them that the little girls just would lose it on them. It was amazing to watch.
Well, dude, that's the thing, is like, if you can get chicks to come see you, guys will follow.
Right.
Look at Nickelback.
They get chicks?
Dude, it's like a country show.
Wow.
I mean, you go to a country show, it's fucking pussy as far as the eye can see, and then the guys that tag along because there's pussy as far as the eye can see. Well, Same thing with Nickelback concerts, believe it or not.
Well, see, I would never know because I'd never go to a Nickelback
concert. Neither would I. But I used to work downtown Minneapolis for a while, and Nickelback came through, and it's like you were walking past the Target Center, and it was just fucking pussy everywhere.
That's crazy. I would never have guessed that.
Right? Well, I mean, somebody's buying their tickets. They sell out wherever they play.
Yeah.
You know? Good for them. Not my cup of tea. Hockey players love them. I think it's a Canadian thing.
Huh. Where are they from?
Canada.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so now we can blame Canada for them and Bieber.
Yeah.
I'll take Bryan Adams any day, though. KIX going to the UK. Yes, we covered this. What's the date in the UK again?
I don't know the exact date. It's in October at some point. Look up the Rockingham Festival.
There you go. Rockingham Festival. Look that up, Laurel. Was it? See, now, I mean, this is how naive I was at the time. And when Blow My Fuse came out, I thought that was your first record.
A lot of people did.
Is it harder to follow something like that up or come out with something now?
No, actually, it was harder now.
Okay.
Back then, Donnie was like, he was just nonstop. He had so many ideas. And it just kept going and going and going. Yeah, it wasn't that hard to follow that one up. But, yeah, this last one, it was a struggle. But it was more like this mental thing, like just being worried about failing.
Right. Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
But luckily, the guy that we replaced Donnie with is actually a pretty good songwriter.
Right.
That helps.
Yeah, so it was nice to see you guys actually in the same room together. This is a lot of bands now that record, they don't even get in the same room. It's just sending files back and forth.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of generic. It just doesn't, and you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know the last Bangles record, that's what they did. And, I mean, I thought it was a good record. It was cool, but it's like I can't fathom not getting in a room with somebody and playing and, like, creating stuff. What the fuck just happened there? Oh, it clicked on him. All right, so what do we got now? Let's see what do we got? We're up to 86 listeners already. Impressive. Nice work, Brian Forsythe. Brian, do you think we'll ever hear the song Inside, Outside, In at a show?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. I don't know. Right now I'm thinking, every time somebody brings up another song that we haven't played, my mind just starts going to the place where I haven't played that song since we recorded it, and I'd have to relearn it.
Right.
Do I want to even deal with that? But I don't know. I'll just say, you never know. We someday we might decide to do something weird.
Do you listen to fans? As far as they say, God, I'd love to hear you guys do this song.
You know what? Sometimes, yeah, it'll spark the idea, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll go, well, maybe that might be kind of cool. I mean, we've had fans ask us to drag out some old song that we didn't ever want to even like think about again, and then we'll just do it like a one-off, at some show like in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania or something. And we'll just do it, maybe one or two shows just to get it down.
Here's an idea for the next time you guys are on Monsters of Rock. Do an all request set.
Oh,
set it up ahead of time so you can learn the songs.
Yeah, we'd have to.
Yeah, you go on your Facebook page. What do you guys want to hear? We're going to play a set based on all requests because you play twice on the boat, so that'd be kind of a cool gimmick.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, I gotta learn songs. Laurel wants to know, how many guitars do you own at this time, and what's your favorite? I'm going to assume the Telly's the favorite.
Yeah, that's my go-to guitar. But I have, God, you know what? I've lost count. But it's not that many. It's between 25 and 30. But there's, at one point I had probably a few more, and I got rid of all the odds and ends that I don't really use. I still have a couple of those that aren't worth any money, so that's why only reason I hung on to them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why sell them? I'm not. It's like, I might as well just keep it. But most of them are guitars that I love, and I only buy guitars to play. I'm not really a collector.
Okay.
So even like the really valuable ones, I'll take them out and play.
Well, yeah, that's what they're there for. I mean, why just look at it? It's
a
fucking guitar, play it.
Yeah.
Do you? Like, I know a lot of guys, pardon me, Fraley, he'll use a Les Paul, but then he'll, double it with a Fender. Do you do that when you record?
No. But that's probably a good idea. But usually I'm in a band that has, like Ronnie plays Les Paul.
Right.
So I play the Telly.
There you go.
And then in Rhino Bucket, same thing. Mm-hmm. George has he has a PRS, which is like a Les Paul.
Right.
And then I play the Telly. So it's got that different tone.
What was it about the Telly that you loved? Or that you love?
The tone, actually.
Okay.
Because back in the old days, I didn't play a Telly. I played a few different things, but I played my main guitar for the longest time was this old 61 Melody Maker, which I still have, but it's got humbuckers in it, so it's kind of like it's got the Les Paul pickups, but it's a thin body like a Junior, or not even a Junior. It's really thin, like an SG kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I played back then. And I played Les Pauls. I had a 335, just different things, PRSs. But then I started playing the Telly when I came out here. And there's just something about those single... Well, I know what it was. Even back when I played the Gibsons, I had like a Les Paul Special and a Junior, which had the P90s. Oh, and a Gold Top that has P90s. And I always preferred the P90s to the humbuckers because they're single coil. And there's something about a single coil pickup. it cuts through no matter how like
Right.
distorted the amp is. It still has clarity, and the Tele is just like that. To me, it's the most versatile sounding guitar. I mean, you can a Tele through a Marshall. It's like you just can't beat that sound.
See, now I need as much noise as possible because I suck.
Well, that's what I used to think.
Oh my God, I'm sorry to say this, but that's a sweet idea. Request set, fucking good idea. Izzy, I'll request that is a great idea. They played the same set both shows.
Well, we switched up one or two songs, I think. One, the intro song.
So I'm sorry if there's a movement started. I apologize. I still think it's a great fucking idea, though. It'd be kind of cool. So I mean, nobody does that, and it'd be just for the boat. You know, cool gimmick for the boat.
It is a good idea.
Let's see. Emily wants to know, Brian, what's your favorite song from Rock Your Face Off?
Oh, really? Oh, that's a good question. Because it's changed here and there. I've liked different songs at different times. I think I really like. What is it? What is the name of that song? Mean Misadventure.
Okay.
But I also like. God, now I'm like drawing a blank to the titles.
Do you need me to pull it up on Wikipedia?
I do this with the Rhino Bucket all the time. Like the new record, we're recording songs in the studio, and they call it, okay, let's do this one. I go, which one's that? Like I can't associate the title with the song.
Right.
What's that Rock and Roll Showdown, which we haven't done live yet. I like that song too.
What? Okay, so back to you left Kix, you did the thing with Eric, and you joined Rhino Bucket.
Mm-hmm.
At what point? I mean, how long had it been? Because it was obviously after you moved out here, correct?
Yeah, it was a while after. I mean, all through the '90s, I was playing in like a blues band. I was playing in this country rock band, and what else did I do? And I did another version of Rhino Bucket with George and Reeve. This thing called Deep Six Holiday, and that was right before the end. And I was playing with Joe Lestay for a while.
Oh, okay.
Doing the Vagabonds thing, and I was playing all kinds of things. And then right at the end, or at the beginning of 1998, that's when I ended up getting arrested and going to jail for a little bit, and then out of jail into rehab, getting sober, and then right out of that, I remember I think I might have even still been at the sober living house, and George calls me up and he goes, "Hey, we're thinking about getting Rhino Bucket back together, and but Greg doesn't want to do it. Would you be interested?" And I remember at that point thinking, I was just getting over the whole Kix thing, and I'm thinking, do I want to go back into this like rock band thing, like? And then he mentions the Ricky Rackman thing, and he goes, "Well, Ricky wants us to do the Cat House reunion." So I said, okay, I'll do that. And so I learned all the Rhino Bucket songs, and we did that. And then after that, we booked a couple more shows, and I already knew the songs, so I kept playing with them. And then we started working on some new song ideas, and we got a movie soundtrack. So all these things kept happening.
Right.
And it just, before I knew it, I was in the band. It's almost like dating a girl, and next thing you know, that's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Before you even like decide.
Right. Was that hard for you? I mean, especially fresh out of rehab, getting back into that scene?
No. Yeah, a lot of people ask me that. In fact, they ask me about the cruises.
Right.
Like, how do you handle that? Like, aren't you tempted? But you know what? I look at that and I go, whew, I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, because you see the same shape some of these people on the cruise,
like,
And I'm usually one of them. Yeah. I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah, so luckily for me, the little perception thing shifted, and now it's like it does not look good to me anymore.
Right, and you haven't had any slip-ups?
Nope.
Wow, that's impressive. Because usually, I mean, you hear Nikki Sixx, he's like, yeah, I had a couple slip-ups. Ace had a couple slip-ups.
A lot of people do. It's it's not easy, but I think my bottom was so low and gnarly that I keep that in the front of my mind.
Right. Have you talked about that publicly? Do people know what happened? I mean, this is news to me. This is all fresh to me.
I've talked to a few people about it. Okay. I can talk about it.
I mean, what happened? What was the bottom?
I'll tell you. I was doing the Vagabonds, I can't even say the word, Vagabonds thing with Joe Lestay. Mm-hmm. We had a residency at the Teaser, and I was smoking crack, I was smoking heroin, I was drinking, and all that like professionalism that I had during KIX, where nothing before the show or during, went out the window.
Gone.
Yeah, I'd be in the bathroom before the show, smoking crack, and then I'd go on stage, and then I'd be jittery from the crack, so I'd go back to my guitar case, and I have like foil in there and my heroin, the tar. I'd stick it on the foil, and I have my back to the audience, and I'd take this big hit, and I'd turn around and start the song.
Holy shit!
And that's where I was, and I remember
Yeah.
I remember Ronnie at the time was living out here too. He lived out here for a little bit. Mm-hmm. He used to come to those shows, and I remember one night talking to him, and he just had this concerned look on his face, and I'm thinking, what? Like, well, I don't know if you know, but it's always like the person that's in the worst shape is the last person to, like, they think they're getting away with it. Like,
Right.
Nobody
No,
noticed.
I'm fine.
Yeah, and I didn't think anyone would notice.
Right.
It's like everybody noticed. Oh, and here's another funny one. While I was doing the Vagabonds thing, one night this guy comes up to me at the end of the show, and he was doing a movie, and he needed a guitar player for a scene, and he asked me if I'd be interested, and he offered me like $300, and of course, I'm this down and out drug addict. I was living on like, I don't even think I was employable at the time. I had been working for my brother, but he had to let me go because I just became so unreliable.
Right.
So I was scrounging, like, we play the Teaser, and Joe Lestay would throw me $20, and I'd just run downtown. And so this guy offered me like $300 to do this scene in a movie, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. It turns out it's this underground cult movie now called Fresno Smooth. Okay. And I was in a scene with Lemmy and Randy Castillo as Motorhead. We were Motorhead in the movie, but because Lemmy was the only guy in town, the rest of the guys were back in England, so they needed to put a band together around Lemmy. So I got to do this movie, and then I never heard anything about it for years and years and years. And then finally, a few years ago, it was released on DVD, and it has the director's commentary. And that's the funniest. You watch that scene that I'm in, and they don't know who I am, but they refer to me as the knotted out guy. And they're talking about that. They go right up until the scene. This guy's knotted out at the bar, and they're going, "Is he going to be able to do this?" And they're like all worried. And then he goes, "Yeah." And then they called action. He just jumped up there and nailed it. They couldn't believe it. It's like, it's the funniest thing to listen to. Oh my God! And here, I didn't think anybody noticed.
Wow, that's like that Ace Frehley fish sandwich story that Trunk has told 9 billion times.
Fish sandwich.
Ace was out on this. He was doing all these radio shows in New York, this press tour in New York, and just shit faced. And he was on his way to a radio interview, and he was just gone. And he was like looking like he was going to pass out. And I'm not doing justice to the story because it's not Eddie telling it in a very 4-hour-long discussion for one question. Eddie, I love you, buddy. You know that. And he's like, he just goes, "Fish sandwich." And Ed goes, "What?" "McDonald's fish sandwich." And they go through a McDonald's in the limo, and they get him 2 fish sandwiches. All of a sudden, bam, he's wide awake, and he goes in and he nails the interview.
I've never heard that story.
It's just one of those things. That's what that reminded me of. Action. All right, cool, let's do this.
Yeah.
So how long have you been clean now?
April Fool's Day, I'll have 19 years.
Wow. Congratulations. Nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I ended up in L.A. County, and then they transferred me up to Wayside. I don't know if you know where that is, up near Wally World. Magic Mountain. But it's up there and near Magic Mountain. It's the maximum security prison. And I was just in there for possession, but they shipped me up there, and I'm like on that bus that you always see driving around with prisoners. And I used to see that while I was out there using. I'm like, see that bus, and I'd laugh at it, and then all of a sudden there I am on that bus, going up from L.A. County up there, and I finally, I was in there probably a little over 2 weeks, and it was enough time to get off the drugs,
right,
and have a moment of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point where I was somewhere, maybe I'd gone to court date, or maybe it was when I first got up there, and they got us off the bus, and we had to go into this room, and everybody's had to take all their clothes off, strip down, and then you're spreading your butt cheeks, and I'm there just, it's humiliating. And then the guy, you're done, and the guard walks down the table, and your clothes are piled there, and he just picks them up and throws them at you, and you're still squatted there, and all of a sudden a shoe would bounce off your head. So I'm picking up my clothes, and I'm putting them back on, and going back up to the dorm. And in my mind, I'm walking, and I'm thinking about all those days at Hammer Jacks and all the KIX days and the arena tours, and I'm like thinking, how did I end up here? And here I am in this little prison jumpsuit thing.
Right.
And so that's it was kind of like a turning point in my mind. And so when I got hooked up with now it's Music Cares, but back then it was called MAP, Musicians Assistance Program, and they hooked me up with a lawyer, and that guy made the deal to get me out of jail into rehab. And the only reason I went to rehab, really in my mind at that point, was just to get out of jail. I wasn't even thinking about getting sober. So, but that's what it took. And so I said, yeah, I'll do it. So they took me from jail, and they put me straight into rehab. And I think by the time I got there, I remember I was worried about going in there. I was like, I'm walking up to the door, and I'm thinking, I knew that I didn't want what I had.
Right.
Like where I came from. It's
Right.
just like, I don't want to go back there. So I knew that I had to do this, and I just went through there, and there's somehow the willingness kicked in, and I just became willing to listen to what they told me, and I just did what they told me, and got through that. And ever since, I still go to AA meetings. Every week. And
wow, that's impressive.
Even on the boat.
Really? I didn't know they had AA meetings on the boat.
Well, people that aren't in AA wouldn't know. But.
Right. Yeah, because there are some sober guys on the boat.
Yeah.
I guess I never would even thought about that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Laura wants to know, how was it making your film To Hell with the Devil, and was it hard switching from music to acting? You made a film?
What is the name of that movie?
To Hell with the Devil?
No, it was.
It was a Striper documentary?
No, it was. That's not the title. Why can't I think of the title? See, I should be prepared. Now you know, what's his name? Vic, right, from Johnny Crash.
No.
He makes movies, and he made this movie. Why can't I think of the name of it? Oh, somebody help me. This was a few years ago. He hired. He wanted Rhino Bucket for the soundtrack, and then he wanted us to be in the movie because it was a movie about a singer that loses it and then makes the deal with the devil kind of thing. So he wanted Rhino Bucket to be this guy's backup band. So I thought, okay, we're just going to be a band in the movie playing in scenes. And then he shows up with the script, and I end up having this part, like pages and pages of dialogue, and I've never acted, but it was so much fun. And the singer is actually a professional actor guy, and he took me aside and helped me out, and we went through the lines, and it was a rush. It was we'd get done a day of shooting, and I'd be driving home, and I'd just be like, wow, that was great. I want to do that again. It's like riding a roller coaster or something. But, that's the only thing I've done so far.
Have you thought about trying to pursue it?
I've thought about it. In fact, I've talked to people, but I met like some actor agent guy, but everybody's always like, well, if you can't just sort of do it. You got to really, it's got to be like all or nothing. And, I'm playing music,
See, I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
You
Plenty
know,
of people probably pull that off.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not. I don't really want to like be super serious,
Right.
but it'd be fun to do here and there.
Yeah, dude, I'm in the exact same boat, except I'm not famous enough yet to try that shit. I'm only famous on the boat.
But you know what? There's I used to know Johnny Depp before he was an actor.
Oh, wow.
When we recorded Cool Kids down in Florida at Criteria, and Johnny was playing in this band called the Kids down there, and he was only like 20, I think. He was underage, and I knew this girl Johnny knew this girl that I knew, and so we'd hang out together, and we'd go to these like she was a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
And so she'd enter all these like wet t-shirt contests and all this stuff at these clubs. And I remember one night going out to maybe it was even Summers, one of those clubs down in Fort Lauderdale. So we brought Johnny along, but he was too young. But somehow she talked her way got him in. But the only way that he could be in there was if I stayed with him by the DJ booth. We had to stand there. We couldn't wander around the club. So it was pretty cool. And then he would come down to the studio and hang out. And then finally, we got done recording that record. That was the Cool Kids record. We one thing we used to do right when we get done recording, we'd always like try to go to some club and get up and jam or do something, play some of the songs. So Johnny's band was playing at the Button South in Miami. So we went there, and they let us get up and play 3 songs on their gear. And Johnny's got this killer 56 Telecaster. That's the very first time I played a Telecaster through a Marshall, and that's what put the bug in my ear. But anyway, and then,
so it was because of Johnny Depp, not Keith Richards.
A little of both, but Johnny Depp's was the first one I actually played, and I played a KIX, 3 KIX songs on that Telecaster, and it was the best sound. And then my reference to Johnny is like, look what happened to him. He goes off and now he's like this famous actor guy. And it's like, wow.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. When's the last time you've talked to him?
I saw him after he did Cry Baby. Remember that movie?
Yep,
the John Waters movie.
Yep.
I was at Hammerjack's. I went to see Stray Cats. They were playing.
Nice.
And
Minneapolis represent.
Yeah, and well, Hammerjack's, that was our home. We could go anywhere we want at Hammerjack's. So I get there, I just go straight backstage to the office, and we're waiting. Well, the Stray Cats were done, so I went in there to hang out. I was going to go up and say hi, and there sitting there is Iggy Pop and Johnny Depp and a couple other people. But because they had just gotten done filming that day, and they were hanging out, and they came down to see Stray Cats. And so then I saw Johnny go, hey, Johnny, you remember me? And he's like, yeah. So we were talking. I was asking him if he still had the Telecaster, and he still has the Telecaster. But
I would hope so.
But that's the last time I saw him. And that's the first and only time I've ever met Iggy, too.
Oh, wow.
And Iggy was really cool. In fact, that was when Don't Close Your Eyes was just taking off.
Okay.
And he was like asking about it. Like he knew the song, and it was really cool.
Is that surreal for you?
Yes. I mean, Iggy Pop, that's a legend.
Right.
He's a legend.
Yeah. You have a legend asking about one of your songs.
Yeah, and he knew the band.
It's
crazy.
Great. Let's see. Congrats on your sobriety. What's a typical day like for you now?
Facebook.
Yep. Everybody, thanks for sharing that story. That's To Hell with a Bully. Is that the name of it?
Oh, To Hell with a Bullet.
Bullet. There you go. Oh, she didn't put the T at the end of it. Let's see. What band would you like to see perform live?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Band? Out of all the bands in the world?
Yeah.
One that I haven't seen?
Yeah.
God, that's a good question.
If you say Nickelback, we're ending it right now.
No, don't worry.
I'm kidding.
Oh, let me think here. I've seen pretty much every band. There's got to be a band I've not seen. I haven't seen Airborne.
Really?
Yeah. I know those guys, but I have not seen them live.
Oh, they're fucking fun.
I would love to see
They're
them
fun.
live.
It's, you'll get tired watching them.
Yeah. Well, I've seen videos.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So yeah, they're fucking
But
great.
you get tired. Like they came to a few Rhino Bucket shows when we were in Europe.
Uh-huh.
And there was one show was in Amsterdam, and we were playing, and it was like in the middle of winter. In fact, there was some kind of snowstorm, so everything was closed down, but this club was still open. So we had like 12 people, and those guys show up. It was Joel and Ryan, his brother, and they're in the front row, just rocking out so hard. Like they had beers in their hands, and the beer was flying. There's sweat, and it was like crazy just watching them. They had like more energy than we did. It was crazy.
Oh, they're fucking great. They're fucking great. What was it? What was it that brought you back to KIX when you guys reformed? Was it a no-brainer for you, or did you have to get talked into it?
No, not really. Steve called me, and Steve had his band Funny Money, and Ronnie had his band Blues Vultures, and they used to do shows together back east. And at the end of the night, Ronnie would get up with Steve and Jimmy, and they'd do KIX songs. And Steve called me, and he goes, when that happens, the crowd just goes crazy. He said it would be really cool if we could arrange it, like have you fly in and be like this surprise guest and just jump up there at the end of the night. So that was the initial idea, which that didn't happen, but that got us talking about it. And then finally it was like, well, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just put some shows together? And this was like in the fall of 2003, we talked about it. And then around the holidays in December, we actually put some shows together, and we did it just to see what would happen.
Right.
And it was, no brainer after that, because
right.
the place was jammed. Like people were just frothing at the mouth to see us, and the money was good.
That always helps.
So that was actually our main goal to begin with, was let's go have fun and make some money.
Right. Well, that's what it's all about, right? That's why we do it, because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. That's why we play music. Anything else you need to pimp? How can people find you social media?
On Facebook, Brian Forsythe. Well, there's Brian Forsythe. That's my personal page, and then there's the Brian Damage.
Okay, which is
musician page.
Musician page. Okay. Twitter.
What is it? @ Real Brian Damage.
Okay.
And then I'm on Instagram too. I've had an account, but I just recently started posting.
Oh,
stuff.
all right.
It's mostly food.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's
me too.
That's his photographs.
Yeah, exactly. Look what I'm eating right now. Yeah. I'm that douche. Can't help it. And the KIX website.
Oh, that's KIXBand.com. And you can find, if you want to buy the DVD or the CD, you can go there to find out how. I mean, it's on Amazon,
right?
All the places where you normally would find it, and it's even in some stores, I think. But then also Rhino Bucket, that record, the new record, is coming out, and the date is April 21st. Is the release date for the new one, and that is on Acetate Records. So you can go to acetate.com to find Rhino Bucket stuff.
Cool. And then, that last KIX record came out in 2014. Are you guys talking about doing another one?
Yes, we have been talking. We haven't gotten together and started working on stuff. I know Steve and Ronnie have gotten together a little bit here and there, but yeah, that's we're thinking about it.
There you go. Dude, thank you so much for coming by, man. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. It was good to find out about you, more than just, hey, how's it going in the buffet line? Right. Brian Forsythe from KIX and Rhino Bucket. Hold on. We got a new listener.
Okay.
What did you and Jimmy's team make at the Cooking with Rock Stars on the most recent MORC? Don't ask me, because I was drinking Jack Daniels.
Oh, we had to do it was sort of Super Bowl themed.
Yeah, it was chicken and nachos, wings and nachos.
Yeah, wings and so we had to do 2 different types of wings and then 2 different types of nachos. And mine was a major fail this year. It was terrible. I didn't, because I'm not a football fan or a sports fan, so I don't eat that stuff. So it's like, it's like you get there and you have to look at the ingredients and then just figure it out. Mine looked bad. It was just
Pardon me, sir. You do not have to be a sports fan to enjoy a nice plate of hot wings.
Well, that's another. I don't eat chicken.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess I'm not going to offer you any of my Jamaican chicken I have downstairs. There you go. No, he did not win. Chad Stewart wins every year, so deal with it.
Yeah, luckily Chad saved us with the.
Oh, that's right. You're on Chad's team.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, but I would have lost if it weren't for Chad's drink.
Right. And I would have been sober if it wasn't for Chad.
I mean, everyone liked the wings, but it was my nachos that almost killed it.
The wings were amazing, from what I remember. Brian Forsythe from KIX and Rhino Bucket. What a blast. Great show. Let me hit my outro here. Is it starting? Oh, there it is. Thank you, guys. I will be back next week. I don't know who the guest is. We'll figure it out. I'm working on some stuff. Gonna get that bottle of Jack Daniels up on eBay. All proceeds going to the SoCal Bulldog Rescue. Make sure you take care of my advertisers. Beater Amplification, A&P Productions Laser Engraving Division, Rockstar Leatherworks, Rockwood Saloon, Sass Pants Designs, Vid-Dash Decals. Gonna have a brand new one next week too. Facebook.com/IzzyPresley1 and /another effing podcast. Izzy_Presley on the Twitter machine. If you want to help out the show monetarily, Izzy.Presley@gmail.com is your PayPal. I will see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, I do in fact love you all.